K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Ace, and you're watching another episode of Sports Minute. And tonight with me, I have my two co-hosts for the evening. Number one, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start out with that man that we call Mr. Big B. How are you doing tonight, my man?
Hey, I'm doing good. Wednesday, always glad to be on when I can, when I'm feeling good. Poker night went pretty good for me, as you guys know if you follow the show. Outside of that, I'm ready to talk sports, and these topics are going to probably bring us some good debates, I think.
That's actually a change because generally you always say your poker nights are bad. And
yeah, I got a straight flush today, so won a good pot, so that was good.
All right, and then James, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Some of these topics are interesting, and some are just puzzling. A lot of things I didn't know, so I'm interested to see what I found.
Right? Yeah. So, and I know sometimes my topics are, you guys are probably like, oh, you're killing me. But the thing is this is Sports Minute, so we got to talk about, everything.
Yep.
Kind of anything.
No, I know that. I'm not degrading the topics. I'm just shocked by it.
Well, no, I get it. Well, so number one, our first topic for the evening is, we're going to talk about slam ball. They're actually bringing slam ball back for a 6-week season. And of course, they're going to have the playoffs and then the whole championship game. I'm curious to see. I think that they said there's going to be, 8 teams, or something like that. So again, typically when leagues start, they usually start out with about 8 teams and stuff like that. So with this, there's going to be 8 teams, a 6-week season. I remember watching this when I was like in high school. I remember it being around then. I haven't seen it since then. I think it's, for me personally, I guess it's kind of cool that they're bringing it back. Will I watch it all the time? I mean, it's going to be hard to know because I don't even know what channels or anything it's going to be on. I don't know when the season starts. But Big B, what's your thoughts on them bringing back slam ball?
Now, I haven't looked it up. I was busy. Slam ball, the trampolines, basketball.
Yeah, that's the trampoline, and yeah.
God, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see. I mean, if it's on, I'll probably watch it just to kind of see what it's like. I know when we brought Sports Minute on, we always talked about weird sports and stuff, and so, but yeah, I don't know. I've seen highlights of people doing it in like gyms and stuff or having it, and I guess it's. There's pretty much no rules, right? You can go in there and spear a guy going up for a shot or something.
That's not true.
Okay, I don't know. Like I said, I've seen bits and pieces, but it's an interesting concept. Like I said, if it's on, I'll probably take a look. And I guess James' internet doesn't want to talk about slam ball, so
I guess not. Now, when it was on the first time, do you remember watching it at all, or you never watched it before?
No, I don't recall seeing it. Like I said, I've seen like clips of it and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just looking it up now and played outdoors. It looks like, or probably anywhere they can.
Yeah, it can be. But before it was played in both. It was played indoors and outdoors.
Yeah, so it was around. Well, this is like their 4th or 3rd crack at it because the 2003 or 2002, then 2007, and then now they brought it back in 2023. So
yeah, so like I said, I was in high school when it was there. It was that long ago.
So it looks like ESPN, CBS has picked it up in the States here. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Does it say when it's supposed to be starting or no?
Let me see here. Let's bring James back up to the conversation. Right now, I do not see Wikipedia does not have a date.
That was in July.
It could be. It
Yeah,
very well could be.
I thought I read that.
yeah. Well, let's see here. Yeah,
No.
it doesn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see a. But I'll just look it over some like regulations and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Slam dunks are scored as 3 points.
yes, yes, they are.
Outside shots are 3 at the arc are worth 3 as well. 4 players on each side. 8 to 10 player rosters. Yeah, it'll be kind of interesting to kind of see. It looks like they set up 4 trampolines around the court or inside the arc, as they call it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what's going on, Steve?
Oh,
Welcome in, Christy. Steve, I know I saw your question about podcasters. Please, hit us up later. Feel free to message us. We will talk to you about it anytime.
Yep.
If you want to hit me up, look on Facebook under Adam Barber. I know my podcast name is Ace, but look me up, Adam Barber. You can message me. All right.
There you go.
So with that, James, did you remember watching Slam Ball?
I remember it on like the regional cable sports network, whatever I had in LA. I remember that was on that channel, and then I want to say it was on like Spike TV.
Yep, Spike.
And it just disappeared.
Right.
Like 15, 20 years ago, it just went away. And I remember kind of getting into it just because I was into anything basketball. But now I've set my limits to, professional basketball pretty much. So I read here, Slam Ball will relaunch with a 6-week season this July in Las Vegas, followed by a 7th playoff week, and that Netflix will carry some games from what I see here.
Oh, wow, okay.
So that's good. That's good because, as you know, with Bally Sports, they cover the Twins, of course, and the Angels, Clippers. They're in bankruptcy. They couldn't pay their bills, basically. And streaming is, I guess, the way to go now for certain things if you want to find it. And this is probably a great thing where, hey, you could catch the games anytime you want. And I think that's a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to make each quarter 5 minutes. So it's only going to be a 20-minute game. So I think that's going to be better than what it was back then, I guess, because the attention span of generations has gone down as on in the future. This new league, though, I read about it. It has big investors, like $11 million raised to fund it. Like I said, I watched it back then. If I'm really bored, or if we get in another pandemic or something, then I'll check it out. But I don't see myself watching it. Writing a note to watch it. I won't.
Okay, well, I think it's something that I'll probably just get on to kind of check out, just to see. Anytime anything comes back, I like to check it out just to see if it was better than the first time around or second time. It just entertains me like that. It really does. The littlest things, the littlest sports entertain me. So when COVID originally hit and it shut down a lot of sports and they were playing like the non-contact sports, we're sitting at home and I was like, hey man, I want to check out some kind of sport to watch. I'm sitting in the living room with my dad and we're kind of searching through the TV and I'm like, what's this? Well, it was championship rock climbing. So we're sitting there and we're watching the championship rock climbing because so now, it was it. So now I can actually tell you more about rock climbing than I ever thought that I could because it was something that we actually watched. So
how about that marble racing? Remember that when that started off in 2020?
The marble racing.
Yeah, that was a big deal when we were all supposedly at home. I remember that.
No, I know a lot of people were doing their own thing at home, and that's where a lot of people now are doing a lot of podcasts. I mean, when COVID hit, I mean, they were doing their own thing, making, I saw one guy do, like, grab a bunch of Matchbox cards and make a race out of it, and stuff like that. I mean, so.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But okay, that was so. Greg saying after midnight ping pong is where the money's at. Okay, so thank you for that. All right, so moving on from that, I just wanted to get everybody's opinion on slam ball. So it seems like Big B saying he might check it out. James saying nope, no, thank you. He definitely
undecided.
Yeah, if it's on, I'm gonna I'll definitely tune in. I mean, but the thing is with slam ball, would that benefit the bigger guys, the smaller guys, the in between guy? I mean,
I don't think the people that weigh less because they get to jump higher.
right.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, do you want like a Brock Lesnar guy sitting there?
No. I mean, he couldn't get up.
I mean,
F5 to everybody.
It'll be interesting to see how the teams are built. I guess is what I'm kind of getting at, and see, where the strategy comes along. I guess
F5 to everybody.
Yeah, F5 to everybody. Well, I was going to say John Cena, but we can't see him, so
right. F5 and Suplex City to everyone.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to our next topic. This next one is actually interesting. This one came up to where Cam Newton actually had a throwing session for teams, and the comment he made was he simply said, "There's no way there's 32 starting quarterbacks out there that are better than me." And so I started out with Big B last time. And so James, with the comment he made about Cam Newton saying there's no way that 32 starting quarterbacks are better than him, and he did a throwing session. Does Cam land on a team, and do you actually agree with him when he says that the 32 starting quarterbacks are not better than him?
I don't agree with anybody. I think everybody knows that by now. I form my own opinion. I don't care what people think, especially Cam Newton. I thought he was just alone on his podcast, and he started his YouTube channel, and I thought he was just going to focus on that. Well, maybe he could do that and trick someone to sign him. I honestly thought it was April Fool's Day when I read that. And then I saw the videos of him rolling out, throwing a 50-yard pass. Everybody on Twitter saying, sign him, and all that crap. But he's 33 years old. I think I'd rather go with a rookie quarterback and just develop him instead of getting someone with so much baggage like Cam Newton. I just don't want to retread. We have so many horrible quarterbacks already in the NFL. And there's so many retreads that keep getting jobs. So I could kind of see why everybody's like, hey, go get Cam. But we don't need Cam Newton anymore. Like, he was good when he was good. And there's a reason why he's not a team. He's not good anymore. I think the league has kind of passed him by. But then again, there's all these other bums that get jobs for quarterbacks. So maybe he'll fit right in. But I don't want to see him. I don't care about him.
Well, yeah, but that's why I was saying, do you truly feel...
I don't want to see him at all. So there's the answer.
Yeah,
I don't want to see him at all.
So right now, you would say that all 32 starting quarterbacks out there are better than him.
I want to no. Okay, look. How is he going to be in a different system, right? Because we saw, okay, he can't really throw anymore. He can barely run.
Right.
Everybody needs a running quarterback now, right? So if both things are working, running and passing, how are we going to use you if we need you? So I don't want to see him at all. So I hope there's at least 52 quarterbacks better than him. How about that? I'll go 52.
So you'll go 52. All right. So, Big B, your thoughts on Cam Newton's statement And do you think he gets signed?
Well, I'm going to agree with Christy here. We'll pull up her comment.
Thank
he's
you.
delusional. Is there 32 quarterbacks better than him? Yeah, because he's not on a roster. Is there 64 quarterbacks better than him? Yeah, because he's not on a roster. Is there 8 XFL quarterbacks better than him? Yeah, because he's not on a roster. Yeah, I mean, in his prime, yeah, the guy was great, and we all would want him on our team. But I'm with James. I don't want to see you anymore. I mean, go play some flag football. Go
XFL, CFL, USFL.
I don't even want to see him in the XFL. I mean, go play flag football. Go play slam ball. Go. I don't know. I mean, go bowl or something. I mean, you know, I don't know. Especially somebody like that. I mean, kind of thinks of Kaepernick. You know, he goes out and throws to college guys, looks great. Everybody wants to sign him, but yet no NFL team signed him. So, you know, I mean, I'd probably be better quarterback than him right now, and I haven't thrown a football past 20 yards in who knows how long. So, but yeah, right now there's 64 NFL quarterbacks better than Cam Newton. So he is right. There's not 32. There's 64.
Right. So, look, the thing is I personally have never been a Cam Newton fan. From the day he was drafted, I was never a Cam Newton fan. Now, was he good when he was in his prime? I'd say, yeah. I mean, yeah. So he was skilled when he was in his prime. I mean, come on. The guy was the offensive rookie of the year. He won an MVP. He took his team to a Super Bowl. Carolina had that 15 in one season when Cam had 45 total touchdowns that season to 10 interceptions. That was the same year that he won MVP and took his team to the Super Bowl, which we know how that ended up. They ended up losing in the Super Bowl to the Denver Broncos the year before Peyton Manning retired, and that was quite the Super Bowl. I will tell you what, that was a crazy season. But do I believe that the 32 starting quarterbacks out there are better than Cam Newton right now? I mean, I would say yeah. I mean, I can't say that they're not. Number one, it's kind of like you said, Big B. He's not on a roster, and these guys are. If there was a team that thought Cam Newton was better than one of the 32 starting quarterbacks out there, he would be starting on a team. If teams thought he was better.
Just think of the teams. Okay, we all know Rodgers is probably going to the Jets, but right now he's not there. The Jets need a quarterback. They ain't calling Cam Newton. Houston Texans are a dumpster fire who need a quarterback, 5 offensive linemen, defense, kicker, punter. They're not calling Cam Newton. I'm trying to think of who else. I mean, Buccaneers, lost their greatest quarterback. Exactly. They went outside Baker Mayfield. He's better than Cam Newton. Miami Dolphins, who, have Tua, who, is one concussion. But
debatable.
Oh yeah, but still, they're not even calling Cam Newton. The Raiders
aren't even calling
the Raiders. I don't even think have a quarterback on the roster yet. They're not even calling Cam Newton.
They have Jimmy G, but
that's right, Jimmy G. Yeah, so I mean the Saints. Who else am I missing? That Atlanta. Who's their quarterback? They're not calling Cam Newton. So
Ritter and Heineke.
Yeah,
Heineke. Okay, so. I mean, there's 5 teams there that are going to have new quarterbacks this year, and nobody's calling Cam Newton.
Yes.
Tennessee.
I think I probably got more phone calls from the NFL than Cam Newton has. So
that's the funny thing is though, it's like this, like it's kind of like you're saying. So he can go out there and do his throwing for teams or whatever, go out there and do that. If he throws a 50-yard pass and somebody's like, oh, you know what?
Nobody in his face. I mean,
you know what? He looks good. Okay, you're right. There's nobody in his face. He can throw it 50 yards. Okay, great. There's people who are that are in high school that can throw 50 yards. Does that
Mhm.
mean that they should be signed in the NFL? No, that doesn't mean that, because maybe they don't have anybody in their face either when they're throwing it. The point is what's he going to do when he's on that field? We saw what he was like the last time he was in New England. He
Yeah, I
played.
was gonna say I couldn't even remember what team he last played for because it
Yeah,
was
he
so
played
irrelevant. Yeah.
for well, he was in New England and
Carolina,
then
right?
came back to Carolina for the
Oh,
last few games. He came back and played in like a few games.
yeah.
But when he played in New England though, he played in 15 games that season. Okay, he started 15 games. And in the 15 games he started, yeah. So New England might have finished with a 7-8 record on that. Well, it was a 7-9 record on the season, but with him starting, they were 7-8. So
God, I don't even remember Cam Newton starting that many games
Mhm.
for
yeah,
New
he did.
England.
He started 15 with New England, but he threw for just under 3,000 yards, had 8 touchdowns to 10 picks, but threw 3 touchdowns in his final game that season, which means the rest of the season he had 5 passing touchdowns in
Yeah.
14 other games. And you're telling me that that's starting caliber play right there?
You know
Yeah,
who
And
I'd
so
rather see come back is Terrell Owens more than Cam Newton.
so his last decent season was 2017. The team was 11-5, 22 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. Then he plays the following year, not a bad season, but 6-8, 24, and what's his interceptions? Like 13. Then he gets hurt in 2019, starts 2 games, loses them. Then, like you said, he went to New England, 7-8, throws 8 touchdowns
to 10
and
picks.
10 picks. And then even his final year, 2021, he started 5 games, played 8. He was 0 for 5, and he had 4 touchdowns and 5 picks. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
that's my
8
point.
touchdowns, that's like 2.5 weeks for some of these guys. And he did
Mhm.
Well,
it in
yeah.
15 games.
Well, yeah, and Big B, that was my point too. Is like in
Yeah,
the final game of the season, he threw 3 of them. So that means he went 14 games for the rest of the year, throwing 5 touchdowns.
yeah.
5 in 14 games, and you're telling me that is a starting quarterback caliber play?
God,
There's no way.
that's not even, I mean, you could probably do better on all Madden in a 16, 17 game season than 8 touchdowns and 10 picks. And I don't know. Like Chrissy said, he's delusional. Go to the XFL, go to CFL, go to NFL Europe, go play somewhere else.
Which you never know. He might end up going to play somewhere else.
Go play
So
badminton or cricket or bags or
right.
yeah.
Right. Well, I just wanted to bring that up because once I saw that topic, I'm like, no way, he's trying to make
I saw
another
that too, and I
comeback.
was kind of like James too. I'm like, really? He's going to throw in Alabama with some college kids? Yeah.
Right.
All
All
right.
right. Well, transitioning into our next topic. So this has kind of been a debate, and this is only when it started because we know that Freddie Freeman injured his hamstring at the beginning, but then he ended up coming back. And then Diaz for the Mets now has a season-ending injury, and so a lot of people and nobody complained about it until these injuries happened, and now people are saying that this World Baseball Classic and everything else should not happen because of injuries like this. That's going to cost the player their season when they get hurt. They're saying that these players should focus on spring training and not so worry about these World Baseball Classics. And you can even get hurt in spring training. So does that really make a difference? So Big B, I'll start out with you. What's your thoughts when people are saying that the World Baseball Classic should not really happen because the risk of injury to players?
Well, if that's the case, like you said, then spring training shouldn't happen, then the regular season shouldn't happen. we should just play it on MLB The Show every year. I mean, you could get hurt. I mean, I remember, I think it was Mark Redmond, former Twins for the catcher for the Twins. I think he pulled a muscle, I think, bending over to pick up a newspaper or something like that. You know,
He
I
did,
mean, fluke
and
injuries happen. I
and
mean,
Chase Elliott, the
yeah,
NASCAR driver, he
yeah,
he broke his leg snowboarding.
yeah. So we talked about this on deck last week that I think the best option would be to move it into October, November, right around World Series time or right after World Series time. I'll let them play that. If they keep it at the beginning of the year, I propose that one, all professional athletes that are on contracts on 40-man rosters should not be eligible for the World Baseball Classic. But if you're a free agent, hey, go ahead. You're a college kid, go ahead. You're not on a 40-man roster, go ahead. Sign up, go play for your country, because that is an honor that I wish I could do. But, you know, you can't take this away. I mean, the baseball class is good. It gets us ramped up for baseball. Fluke injuries happen. I mean, like you said, Ace, Diaz probably could have. I still haven't seen the injury, but he cheered or jumped up, pulled a muscle. I mean, that could have happened first inning that he pitched in spring training. Same with Freeman. I didn't see his injury, but again, that could have happened. I mean, if we all remember, going back to football for a second, John Carter for the Bengals, first overall pick, first carry of spring training. What do? He blew out his knees or something and never played a carry. So it happens all the time. So I say you keep it around, but I would propose moving it.
All right, James, how about you?
I don't know. Yeah, it sucks for Diaz. I heard one thing, and the New York Mets, by the way, which I think I'll get to in a bit, because that wasn't on Mets' time. That was on, Puerto Rico's time.
Yep.
And then Jose Altuve was hit by a pitch, and he needs surgery for a fractured thumb. I don't know how long he's out, but the Astro fans aren't happy about that. Noah Arenado was hit by a pitch, but I think he's good to go. And then Johan Makata for Cuba, I think, had a collision, and he's day-to-day. But he's important to the White Sox. But what I'm getting at with all these people is that, all these players, is that, hey, they're not getting paid for the WBC or whatever. They're on contracts for their teams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in 2026, the current CBA expires, right? And if I were the owners, I would make it so the big name players can't play in the WBC. It's just too much of a risk, I think, to be paying all that money out to one player and he gets hurt, not even playing for my team. And I just don't like that. If I was an owner, now of course though the players would be against that, and that would make it another thing for the owners and players to squabble about, to try to get a new CBA done in those years coming. So if I'm an owner, if I'm a fan, of a team, let's say Edwin Diaz, if I'm a Met fan, I'm pissed right now because, okay, stick with me here.
Okay.
I don't think he would be jumping around like that with people in spring training. You know what I mean? Like,
True.
you pitch your inning and you go play golf or you go sit at home or something. You don't do anything that requires you to like jump and they didn't even show like how he fell or whatever. That's what I kept looking at, all the different angles, and I was watching the game. It was just one of those freak things like no. Because the Angels had an injury just like that in 2010.
Home plate, isn't it?
Morales hit a
Yep.
grand slam to win the game, and when he went to go hop on the plate, he, I think, broke his knee or something. I can't remember.
He tore something up big time. Yeah.
Yeah, and it went from joy to the absolute bottom of the pit, and I never wanted to see that again. And I saw it, last week, and I felt sick about it because it was such a underdog win by Puerto Rico. Like they were gonna go to the final or whatever, and I'm like, I'm questioning everything. Right, everybody shake hands after you win. Nobody
Yep.
jump up and down. But it's such a risk that do you do what they used to do with the Olympics before the NBA went in '92, where you have just college players play? It's really time to think about that. But like I said, the owners have to really get into that and say, hey, we're pouring so much money and we're losing so much money, supposedly, that we have to deny these players from playing in something that isn't on our time. So
Honestly, though, I don't even think that would ever pass. I really don't think it would. I think that the players can talk about it, but like the owners can talk about it and stuff, but there's no way the players are going to go for that. I just don't see it happening.
No, because how could you? I mean, because you're playing for your country. I mean, unless they put in some in there that if you go there, you get hurt, your contract's voided.
and then the Players Association would come and
there's so many. Like I said, to me, I'm kind of with James O. If you're on a 40-man roster, the team has the option to tell you no. If you're a free agent, not on a 40-man roster, go ahead and go play. That's what I think.
Take that risk.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you know what? I get what you're saying. You have Mike Trout out there and Ohtani out there, and so James, just think as an Angel fan, right? Ohtani's playing out there. Ohtani gets hurt.
Everybody gets hurt as an Angel. I'm used to that. So
just think if if a team had Trout and Ohtani on their baseball team, I mean, how good could they be?
Right? How good could they be?
And I tell you what, I saw that last at bat. I just saw the highlights a few hours ago. Ohtani overmatched Mike Trout. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Mike Trout looked like a little leaguer there.
And what's funny is that's not the last time Mike Trout swung and missed at a big at bat. It seemed like that's been always the case.
Yep. I mean, three hard 100-mile-an-hour fastballs and then some off-speed pitch that was like 87. Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just
Ohtani is legit. I can't even argue that. I mean.
So I think when it comes to it, I think we all kind of agree that, it's okay to have the baseball classic, just not if you're on a 40-man roster.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or move it.
I didn't think about that, Big B. That's interesting because you have to play in the climate control environment in which they have, Arizona, Florida, and domes. Yep. So it still can work for November, December.
Yep,
you just have to get but everybody goes on vacation, so it's like you're not gonna have people play after the season, So.
And Steve, we're not saying we don't love the baseball classic. We love baseball.
I watched almost every game I could.
Yeah. What is
Obtain getting hurt would help the Angels because the Cubs probably wouldn't shell out the big bucks next year.
You're talking about Ohtani?
Yeah, Ohtani, which is where he'll be in 2024.
Who's the Obtain guy?
Yep, Obtain guy, right?
Bring him over. Probably cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, Ohtani's gonna. I mean, he every team's gonna give him a blank check, and tell him put dollars and years on it. Mm-hmm. Guaranteed, Ohtani's gonna name his price.
We know he'll end up going to a team like the Dodgers or Yankees or somebody that.
No, probably, no.
This I disagree with.
Mike Trout couldn't hit the ball.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess Ohtani he couldn't, but he can hit the ball. I mean, I still don't call him the face of baseball. I think I don't think if we have a face of baseball, it's Ohtani right now. But outside of that, I don't think we have a face of legit face of baseball. So
I'll accept that as long as he's an Angel. But if he goes somewhere else, I'm like, screw that guy.
Hey, no, I
watch him end up on the Padres with the last
oh god, another again. The Padres are already stacking up, so it's
I don't. Oh God.
And the thing is, okay, I'm a two-way player. You know, if I'm Ohtani, and I know we'll never get to make this decision at all, but the Padres are stacked. If they're one player away and I can make a difference, I'm taking less money, maybe a couple years, to go get that ring with the Padres. I mean, that lineup is stacked.
it is. That is a very ridiculous lineup. But
Yeah.
so Greg is saying Cubs because he's saying that Otani's going to end up going to Chicago
That would
Cubs.
be the biggest
Cubs
mistake.
win. Cubs win.
He needs to go to Philly. No, we don't need Bryce Harper to have any more people.
They have Trey Turner already.
All right, so
he needs to go to the Braves. I'll give him to the Braves.
Oh, yeah, thank you. We will take him.
He can play shortstop, can't he? I mean,
thank you. We will take him. All right, so
anybody's going to take him.
So going into our next topic, this one is about Lamar Jackson because we know that the Ravens gave him the tag to where he can basically go talk to anybody or whatever and see what they're going to offer, and then the Ravens can match it. However, it was then reported that Lamar Jackson basically came out and told the Ravens, well, I'm done with you guys. But that did not actually come from Lamar. That actually came from a representative of Lamar that came out and told them Lamar has said that he's officially done with you. He wants to move on. But this is the thing, though. I don't understand one thing about this. If Lamar is going out saying that he's officially done with them, nobody's even reached out to Lamar and offered Lamar anything. So I don't understand what Lamar's thinking here. Now, I'm not saying that he won't find another team to go to because I guarantee he can and he will. But you're kind of kicking yourself in the foot when you're saying, hey, Baltimore, I'm done with you. Because so far there hasn't been anybody that's reached out to him and said, Lamar, we want you on our team and we're going to offer you this. Because we know that the tag that the Ravens gave him, a team had a chance to offer, and then the Ravens had a chance to offer it back. But nobody's offered him anything. So
and the thing is, if he signs with said team, they got to give him a minimum of 2 first rounds as a starting price, I think it is.
Yeah.
So, I'm just looking up the Lamar story. One report said it's his mom that called the Baltimore.
That's what I thought. Because I was like, who's the representative? I really want to know because he doesn't have an agent. I think this would all be easier if he had an agent. I honestly think that.
Right. But Lamar wanted to represent himself.
Yeah,
which hasn't worked out for him.
No, it hasn't.
No, it hasn't. Because he's had 0 offers whatsoever. Well, besides the Baltimore offer, that Baltimore is like, we're not going to offer you the $40+ million a year that you want. We're just not doing it. But in reality, I mean, come on, Daniel Jones got paid. And I think that Lamar Jackson might be slightly better than Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones got freaking paid. So, I don't know. But, James, what do you think about the Lamar Jackson situation? Is this smart if Lamar Jackson indeed did tell Baltimore that he's done with them?
Oh, yeah. Deshaun Jackson also has blame on this because of his guaranteed contract. It's amazing. You know, Jackson and the Ravens have had meetings for the last 2 years to try to get a contract extension done or a new contract. But I really want to know who that representative is. I don't think there should be any hiding about that. And that Big B, that's funny you mentioned his mom. I really thought that was the person, and maybe it is. You never know.
Well, I don't know. It says it's one report here. Granted, against the internet, so everybody's throwing out something. It says Lamar Jackson's mom's contacted NFL teams on his behalf. So I don't know if that's to try to negotiate a deal or if that was to Baltimore. But pretty sad that your mom, you're what, 29 years old, your mom's calling to make deals for you. I mean,
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. That contract is going to be too much. Yeah, we'll get back to you. Could you imagine that? Yeah. So I know the representative. They're out there contacting teams, and if in an effort to create a spot for him to go somewhere else. I personally would want him in Atlanta with the Falcons if they can make that happen, or Houston. I think that'd be a big start to their. Well, there's nowhere to go from up. I guess they signed some free agents, but I think that'd be awesome. Any one of those places. I know the new contract's going to be over $200 million, 4 or 5 years. Like I said, it would have been easier for Jackson to have an agent instead of going this individual route. My way or the highway route is just not working out.
Well, unless you got a law background or something from college, but how many sport athletes go all the way through college on a law degree? So
right.
He's basically shorting himself out, and we hear that all the time in the NBA and MLB. Somebody takes a 1-year deal, and then they just shut her out, and they don't get a big contract like they were supposed to. I hope this doesn't happen to Lamar. My feeling is, hey, him and the Ravens and his representative, whomever that may be, will get a deal done in Baltimore, and then he'll be there opening day, I hope. But there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. I know that. And I think a lot of teams would make that move to bring in Lamar over what they have right now starting. So, again, that non-franchise, non-exclusive franchise tag, I think it's called.
Yep.
That was big. That was key. And as you can see, there's no offers out there yet.
Exactly.
But we'll see what happens. But I hope he stays in Baltimore.
Because I think the big sticking point for a lot of these teams is giving up 2 first-round picks for a guy that's injury-prone for one, and outside his MVP year, I don't think has really produced that much. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, unless you're really desperate and need a quarterback, I don't think a lot of teams are going to make that. Now, maybe come NFL draft, we might see some movement. But as long as he doesn't come to Minnesota.
He is going to end up a Raider.
Yeah.
They have
Jimmy G. Well, that's the whole thing with my, there's so many reports on where the landing spot for Lamar Jackson could be, and somebody on ESPN goes, "Oh, Minnesota could be a landing spot." It's like, but yet we still have Kirk Cousins, and it's just like, well,
Ray have a number 8.
Well, yeah, but Kirk Cousins is the last year. They could use a backup. It's like we're not trading for Lamar Jackson unless we trade Kirk Cousins away, because we're not going to have 2 $20+ million quarterbacks sitting on our roster for no reason.
Yeah.
So.
In reality, if Lamar Jackson was to go anywhere, you would have to look at the teams that would really need a quarterback. So let's say, like you were saying, Houston. That might be a place because they need a quarterback. Tennessee could be another one that needs a quarterback. They would need one.
Miami,
I would not say Atlanta yet, and the reason why I would not say Atlanta is because I think they want to see what they have in Ritter first. I do. I think they want to see what they have in Ritter first before they hit the panic button and decide to go out and get a quarterback. Now, I'm not saying that Ritter's going to be good, but I'm saying this is something that they may very well be looking for. They might be going out to see if Ritter's the guy. I'm not saying Ritter is the guy, but I'm saying that they could. Now, other than that, you look at some other teams who need a quarterback. In the AFC, there's really not a whole lot. The Colts do. The Colts need a quarterback. That could be another team that could potentially go after Lamar Jackson. But now in the NFC side, you do have several teams who need a quarterback. You need the Washington Commanders. They need a quarterback. Because right now it's Howell and Jacoby Brissett. Do not say Green Bay. Do not say that
because Rodgers supposedly is traded.
but we have Jordan Love. So
Okay. Now, Ace, I know you're probably going to say you're going to stick with Love, but again, would you? I mean, we know what Lamar is about. I mean, outside his health issues, he's a pretty serviceable quarterback. If Green Bay was to make that move, I think that would benefit Love a little bit because he's going to get some playing time, at least 5-6 games into the season. Lamar's going to get hurt. I mean, I don't think he's going to go to Green Bay. I think you're right. I think maybe Houston, Washington might be the top 2 teams. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't throw out the idea. I don't think it's a crazy idea. But again, Packers need so much that, if you're telling me I'm going to get Lamar and I have to give up 2 first-round picks, I mean, unless I get something for the Rodgers trade to turn over, no, it's not going to happen. Unless I get something from the Jets trade, I mean, it would kind of be like him coming to Minnesota. We would have to trade Cousins, get some assets to trade up to Baltimore to give them what they want for Lamar.
Patriots
would be scary with them, I think.
Since Mac Jones isn't proven.
Yeah, Mac Jones is not. Mac Jones not proving anything.
Jackson
But even talking about the whole Green Bay thing, like you were saying. So let's say that a deal, with the Jets is not reached, right? They cannot reach a deal to trade him to the Jets. Now you have Rodgers and Love on the roster again. Now there's people saying, okay.
He froze. So
that'd be so awkward, Big B, to have both Rodgers and Love back together.
I don't see that happen. I think
it's a whole Favre situation all over again.
Yeah, I think if they don't reach a deal, Rodgers will retire. I think.
I hope. Just go away, please.
Yeah.
I don't need this. Go do whatever. I don't care.
Because Packers have pretty much said that they're done with the. Is Ace back? Ace, you back?
Yep, I'm back.
Okay.
So anyway, so the only point I was trying to say was that let's say they can't reach a deal with the Jets and he doesn't get traded there, and then he ends up staying on the roster. It's like you said. It's like you were saying. If the Vikings were to trade for somebody like Lamar Jackson, the Vikings would not have paying 2 quarterbacks on the roster $20+ million. Now they're not paying Jordan Love $20+ million, but they're not going to pay a guy $50 million to sit on a bench as a backup. They're just they're not.
Oh, he's locked again. Oh no, and I agree with these. I mean, but I think if there's not a deal reached with the Jets, I think Rodgers is going to hang it up. I think there's too much drama there. I can't see Rodgers taking another snap in Green Bay. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be funny though? If that
would be pretty. I mean, because everybody's pretty much reporting that the deal is done. Rodgers said that he wants to play for the Jets, or he's come out and said that he's hoping to play for the Packers, and now. I ain't gonna say reneged the deal, but they put a halt on it. I'm guessing we're going to see a draft day trade. Probably to see where the quarterbacks start falling, and then the Packers will pick up the phone and go, "Okay, let's do this deal." So
yeah, that's true.
There he is. Ace is back again for the 3rd time.
Yep. All right, I'm back. Yeah. So do we agree? So James, you're saying that Lamar is going to probably end up back with the Ravens.
I think so.
And Big B, you feel like he ends up back with the Ravens?
I do too, unless some reason or some way Baltimore is just like, fine, we'll give you we'll trade them for a first and a couple mid-round picks in the next couple of years. Yeah, I think he's going to be in Baltimore. But if he's come out and said that he's done with Baltimore. I mean, as a teammate, I don't think I want him back as much as I respect him. I don't think I'd want him back.
I get it, but as Lamar, you may not have a choice. And the reason I'm saying you may not have a choice because if you're not getting offers from anybody else, then
Well, the
you may
thing is,
not have a
okay,
choice but to go back to
let's go
Baltimore.
back to the Jets Packer deal. That falls through. Did the Jets make a phone call to Baltimore? I mean,
Yeah,
they're signing some legit receivers. I mean,
They
just
may,
traded
and
one too.
they may, but there was also a rumor out there though too that the Rams, who've been trying to cut a lot of money off their salary,
and their Super
have
Bowl
been saying
quarterback.
that Matt Stafford could be available for trade. So if that trade falls through between the Jets and Packers, the Jets could call the Rams and be like, "Hey, would you trade us Matt Stafford?" They could call Baltimore and be like, "Hey, would you give us Lamar Jackson?"
Yeah,
They could do one of those.
Yeah,
balls in
you
their
definitely
court.
have a better chance of getting Stafford than you would a cheaper price for Stafford than you would Lamar. I think.
Absolutely. I believe you actually could.
But
You
Stafford
know,
has the bad throwing shoulder and bad spine, and he
yeah.
still has 2 years left, and it's a lot of money. I wouldn't do it, and I don't think there's any offers out there for Stafford. There was just a rumor like 3 weeks ago, and that's gone.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying that the rumor was that they were saying that they would potentially be willing to trade him if a team called, that they would listen to offers.
Yeah,
And
I wouldn't do much for him though.
yeah, and it's kind of like the situation that you were saying, Big B, that you were saying Wolf from the Vikings was saying that nobody's off the table, and I was like, well, there's no way that they would. I just don't foresee them offering up Jefferson as a trade. That's something that
Oh,
I
no
would
doubt.
not foresee happening.
I mean, it's kind of like what I've said before. If the Vikings call team whatever and say, "Hey, what would you give us for Jefferson?" and they throw out a sweet deal, you know. But if a team's calling me and saying, "Hey, I want Jefferson," what's it gonna take? I'm hanging up the phone if I'm the Vikings. But if the Vikings if the Vikings are actually shopping people, then yeah, I would definitely listen. But if somebody calls me and says, "Hey, we want Jefferson," what's it going to take? I'm going to throw out a ridiculous starting price, for Jefferson.
5 first rounders.
Oh, it would be
3 second
Herschel Walker.
rounders.
It would be a Herschel Walker type deal. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. To start with, so
Yeah, and the thing out there was that you were right though, Big B, about the Dalvin Cook thing, because there was a rumor out there that the Dolphins actually did indeed call the Vikings asking if they could trade for Cook, and the Vikings said, "We will listen to offers."
Yep.
Now,
Ziggy's come out and said that he would listen to, or not Ziggy. Wolf has come out and said that they're open to talking about anybody, which is shocking. But I still think Dalvin Cook's going to get moved. I think that'll be a draft day trade. I think
a draft day.
Yep, I think that's going to be a draft day trade. I wouldn't throw Buffalo out of the mix. They've been wanting a stud running back. So
Cincinnati, I would say.
There's also been that rumor about Darius Smith getting cut too. So that could very well be another one. So I don't know. Like it's this NFL season is definitely going to be interesting. But when it's down, I think we're going to see Lamar Jackson back to where he started again, him in Baltimore. We're going to see a lot of the same quarterbacks, but some interesting moves already happened. That's all I can say. Some interesting moves happened with Jimmy G and Derek Carr. Yeah.
Well, and even like we said, the Jets. I mean, they're signing all these good receivers, and in hopes that the deal of Rodgers goes through. I mean, if I'm a quarterback, it's like, I don't want. If I'm a quarterback sitting in the wings, like a Lamar or some free agents, be like, okay, let's hope that the Rodgers deal don't go through because I want to call the Jets. I want to be their quarterback. I mean,
But they did trade Elijah Moore today. They traded Elijah Moore, and they traded him to Cleveland.
yep.
The hell was that?
That was actually, yeah, I know. That was interesting. I was like, wait, they're stocking up on receivers, yet they were stocking up on receivers, yet they take Elijah Moore and they trade him to Cleveland. So I'm like,
they added a receiver, so they added Hardman, whoever that is. So
no, Rodgers wants his guys. So they're creating space in New Jersey for
Mecole Hardman.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think. Would you rather have Garrett Wilson, or would you rather have Elijah Moore? And if I had the choice, I'm going with Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Why not?
Absolutely going with Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Well, because they did sign Mecole Hardman too.
Yay.
Well, did they sign a former Packer or 2 receivers?
Alan Lazard.
They signed Alan Lazard.
That was good, I think.
Yeah, so like I said, that might be a big curveball if that deal does not go through, I think. So,
but we are definitely almost at that point in the show now. We're almost at that hour mark. So, James, any final thoughts for you, sir?
I have one trivia question for y'all and everybody out there. So Brandon Cooks was traded to Dallas, right?
Yes.
Last week, I believe, for the record 4th time in his career. That's happened once before with a Hall of Fame running back. Do you know who was traded 4 times in their career?
Wow.
I'll give you a hint. He was a Ram, Colt, Raider, and Falcon. He had goggles. He had his Jerry curl. He went to SMU.
Yeah, Dickerson.
Yeah,
Dickerson.
I thought about it. I was like 4 times, and he was a Hall of Famer. That's crazy. Yeah. But hey, good luck to Brandon Cooks. You know, hopefully he gets the ball from Dak. We'll see. But hey,
good show.
Well,
topics and all that. See you around. Thank you for watching. Coast to Coast has all the programming going on. Rank 'em. That's always a great show. I like the one where you guys did board games and I think TV shows that one time. That was awesome, Big B.
All right. Big B, any final thoughts for you?
Yep. Keep checking out C2C, Saturday, 12 Central, another episode of On Deck. Then we turn around. We are going to do a morning tailgate for sure the week before or the Sunday before the draft and the Sunday after. We might do another one beforehand. If a certain quarterback or 2 gets traded, we might definitely have a show. So keep watching out for that. Keep watching out for the rest of the shows. In the Den with the Cougars will not be on tonight. Some things came up, but just keep checking us out all the time.
All right, so we definitely want to thank everybody for watching. It's been another fun episode of Sports Minute. So with that, we hope everybody has a fantastic night, and we will see you next Wednesday for another episode of Sports Minute. Y'all come back now, you hear?
See ya.